780-883-2222. Okay, Steve is standing by in the daytime kitchen, also talking about pink. Take it away.
Yeah, that's right, Sabrina. Thank you very much. Not only are our taxi cabs going pink, but you'll notice here in front of us, our mushrooms are going pink as well. And Clare Jones is here, nutritionist with Mushrooms Canada. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So this is a wonderful campaign, and continuing with what Joe said, this is all about breast cancer awareness.
It is, yes. As you may know, breast cancer is the #1 cancer among Canadian women, and it's touched all of our lives. So Mushrooms Canada wanted to do something about it. And it is not a coincidence that mushrooms is fighting the fight against breast cancer. Mushrooms actually have an anti-tumor activity. They have chemicals in them that help fight tumors that cause breast cancer. So that is why we've partnered with the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. And you'll find mushrooms in most of the major grocery stores in these pink packages from now until November 11th. And for every package that is sold, Mushrooms Canada will contribute to the Breast Cancer Society of Canada.
So these are in stores now?
They are, at all the major grocery stores.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So yeah, that was going to be my question. I was wondering why mushrooms over root vegetables or onions or garlic?
Exactly, yeah. Mushrooms are actually a powerhouse when it comes to nutrition. They're low in calories, so 1 cup of mushrooms has only 14 calories. And in the fight against breast cancer, what we're finding out is that adding about 3.5 ounces of mushrooms to your diet a day, which is about 4 or 5 regular-sized mushrooms. These are kind of big ones here, so we've got 3 in here. Can really help as part of a balanced diet in the fight against breast cancer.
Raw or cooked?
Raw or cooked, either way, yeah.
All right, so let's jump in. We've got a couple of recipes that we're going to prepare today.
We do.
The first of which is what?
Well, I'm just going to do something called Simple Sauteed Mushrooms.
Okay.
And it's really to remind you that mushrooms have so much flavor in them. And you can sort of, you know, up the ante on any dish you're making by just adding some simple sauteed mushrooms to it. I, you know, often forget about it. I'm thinking this dish just needs a little something. And usually just adding some simple sauteed mushrooms to a chicken breast or to a hamburger or to some pasta can really up that flavor and really make it delicious.
It's amazing what it can do. I just threw in, I had some leftover creminis from the weekend, and I made a batch of rice last night and just tossed those in to stretch them out. And
and it really does add that flavor. And you, like you say, stretch it out, because mushrooms can actually be used instead of a portion of protein. Not that it replaces protein, but it is less expensive. It'll cut the amount of fat in the dish, and as you said, up the flavor. So
well, you often foresee people foregoing a big meaty piece for like something like a grilled portobello or something.
Exactly, yeah. You could have a grilled portobello instead of a hamburger on a bun. And
Absolutely.
grill it, it's delicious.
Now when you talk about the medical benefits, the health benefits of mushrooms as it pertains to tumors and the offsets, are there mushrooms that are better at doing that than others?
Well, what's been found is the larger mushrooms actually have more anti-tumor activity in them. So the bigger ones, like the portobello mushrooms, so those are those nice meaty ones that we were talking about. For the simple sauteed mushrooms, what I've done is just put about a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. If you wanted to cut down on fat, you could just use a little bit of non-stick spray. And then put your sliced mushrooms in there. And as you notice, I haven't crowded the pan too much, because if you do, what happens is the water comes out of the mushrooms and they steam instead of you know, cooking and getting that nice sort of brown caramelization on them. So don't crowd the pan, and just, you know, saute them till the water comes out, and then it'll evaporate. And then I usually add some herbs, some fresh herbs, about 2 tablespoons of fresh herbs or a tablespoon of dried herbs, and if you want some salt and pepper, sometimes a little balsamic vinegar or something like that.
Oh, that's nice
too.
to glaze the pan with.
It's really good.
So we're going to be posting some of these recipes on our website at rogerstv.com, but you also have your website, mushroomsgopink.ca, and I noticed that you have a lot of information about breast cancer, but also a lot of tasty recipes as well.
Yes, recipes, and also more nutritional information, because mushrooms, as well as being low in calories, there's virtually no fat, no sodium, there's lots of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and they are actually the only vegetable that have naturally occurring vitamin D. So all those good things.
So tons of vitamin D.
Yeah. So just keep sauteing.
Because vitamin D is something we normally get from what, the sun?
From the sun, yeah. And as Canadians, we don't get a lot of it during the winter, so eating mushrooms can really help add to that.
Now I noticed that the olive oil, one thing I've noticed when I cook mushrooms is if I'm using butter or olive oil, the mushrooms are like sponges.
They do.
Do you find that you'll have to add a little bit more?
You know what, you usually don't, because like I said, the water starts coming out of them, and they don't stick that way. Once the water comes out, yeah, they're fine like that. So I would, I have a chicken breast here that I'm going to put this on top of.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but if I'm at home, steak, it's great on that. And the other thing about mushrooms is they're so versatile. Pastas, stir fries, salads, raw, cooked, all those ways you can serve them.
Well, as you mentioned, a great source of vitamin D, and if you are on the fly, keeping a little container of mushrooms is just popping them raw.
Well, exactly, yeah, and that actually helps in weight control too, because mushrooms do have a lot of water in them. If you eat a cup of mushrooms, it actually makes you feel full, and it's only 14 calories. So if you feel fuller, you won't eat all those higher calorie foods. It's good for that.
I've noticed that these, this is sort of like the standard white mushroom that are in the pink packs.
We also have the sliced mushroom in the pink pack, yeah.
And what about the other mushrooms? Like I noticed we have shiitake here and cremini and the oyster mushrooms up front.
All the different kinds, yeah. And these are all grown locally. That's one thing about mushrooms, 365 days a year. So they're always in season. You know, everyone wants to eat seasonally and eat locally, so mushrooms really fit the bill for that too. So yeah, we have the shiitakes here. Beside them we have the creminis, which are the darker brown ones. And if you haven't tried creminis, if you usually just buy the white button mushrooms, then move up and try the creminis. There's just a little more flavor, a little more meatiness to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and actually a cremini is a baby portobello. So the creminis will grow into the portobello. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And at the front there is the oyster mushroom. Really nice sort of velvety texture, delicious in soups or stir fries, that kind of thing.
Oyster mushrooms too, they saute up really quick as well.
Yeah, they do. And there is actually an oyster called a king oyster. We don't have any with us today, but they're a newer mushroom that's in most of the grocery stores now. They have kind of a thick stem and almost an oysterish top, and they're really delicious. Just sliced thin and sautéed again.
Excellent.
Really good. Yeah.
So we're gonna let these go, and then we're gonna get ready for our next dish when we come back, which is
we're going to make a mushroom Vietnamese soup or a pho.
Yeah, lovely. All right. Again, these recipes are on our website at rogerstv.com. We'll take a quick break and come back with more of Daytime. The third annual Run Walk in support of the Learning Disabilities Association. It's happening Sunday, October 16th at Springbank Gardens. If you want to get involved, contact the information on the screen. And for more information on exciting events like this in our community, go to our website at rogerstv.com. Welcome back to the Daytime Kitchen. We're here with Clare Jones, nutritionist with Mushrooms Canada, and there's a shot of the pink mushroom packages that you'll find in all the major grocers all this month in support of breast cancer awareness. And they're going to be in stores for how long, Clare?
They're in stores until November 11th.
November 11th, okay. And we just made the lovely Simple Sauteed Mushrooms.
That's right. And I've just put it on a chicken breast, and you can see it just really adds to it. You know, a plain old chicken breast, it's okay, but the mushrooms really, yeah, exactly, punches it right up.
I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited about this next dish because I am a big fan of Vietnamese cuisine.
Great.
So, and this is what we have here. We're going to do a traditional
pho. Pho, what it's called, yeah. So this is a fresh mushroom and beef, which is a Vietnamese soup. And it's really simple to make. I was talking earlier about how mushrooms are so versatile and easy, and this will show you can actually get dinner on the table, I would say, in about less than half an hour with this dish, with all the prep. And then if you prepped in the morning and just came home, you could just really throw it together. So
and also really very important to point out that there are some standard Asian ingredients that you need in your pantry to complete a dish like this.
There are, yeah, and most of them you will have, and I'll give you some substitutions in case you don't. So in here I have some beef broth that I'm just simmering or just brought to the boil. If you wanted, you could use chicken broth or vegetable broth if you want to keep it vegetarian option. To that I'm going to add some of the Asian ingredients. So first of all, we have star anise.
Oh yeah, that's lovely stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't used this before. It's kind of a nice licoricey flavor.
Very aromatic.
Yeah, and if you don't have this, you could use cinnamon. So just
all of that in there?
Maybe not the whole thing. That's quite a bit in there. Yeah, a couple, because they really are quite strong in flavor.
Okay.
And then I have some chopped ginger.
All right.
So I'm going to add that.
Do you want all of that?
Sure, yeah. Put it in. And if you don't have any fresh ginger, you could probably use some powdered ginger in there.
Okay.
Now, in Asian cooking, often you'll have some salty and some sweet. So I've got some brown sugar, maybe just a couple of teaspoons of,
Now,
brown sugar.
This looks like, is this regular brown sugar?
It's
or is
just
like a Demerara?
It's just a regular brown sugar, yeah.
So a couple teaspoons?
Yeah, a couple of teaspoons of that. And put that all in. And then we'll just bring this up to the boil.
Okay.
Now, I have some noodles here, which I have pre-cooked, and these are the rice noodles. You'll find them in the grocery store in the Asian section. They're called rice stick or rice vermicelli for a thinner one. And what you do with those is just take the dry noodles, cover them in hot water from the tap, and just let them sit for about 10 minutes in a big bowl, drain them off, and then they're ready to go. So we can add that in.
And then when the broth and all the other ingredients are in, this is sort of the last stage?
Yeah, exactly. So let's put our seasonings in now.
Okay.
We've got some fish sauce.
Oh,
so
right.
this is a Vietnamese sauce. It's very sort of salty, so this adds the salty flavor
How
to
much of this do you want?
Maybe a tablespoon or two, because it's quite a strong flavor. If you don't have fish sauce, you could use soy sauce.
Okay.
Okay. Hoisin sauce.
All right.
I find this really
hoisin.
gives it some more sweetness. Yeah, so a couple of tablespoons of that too, depending on how much you like it.
This is the stuff when you're sitting at the table too in the Vietnamese restaurant. They have the ketchup bottles, but they're
Exactly.
usually
So
full
you can
of
add more
hoisin.
of that if you want. Yeah. Now let's add our mushrooms.
All right. What mushrooms do we have here, Claire?
In here, I just have your regular white button mushrooms that are sliced and some shiitake mushrooms.
Okay, the shiitake.
I find the shiitake really goes nice with the Asian theme.
I like the shiitake mushrooms versus the other mushrooms, the texture. They have a nice chew to them.
Really nice, and they stay like that even when they've been boiled in some liquid. So it's about a half a pound or to a pound, depending on how mushroomy you want it. I like it really mushroomy like that, and then you actually don't have to add as much
yeah,
beef.
look at that.
Yeah, and this recipe is on our website, which is mushrooms.ca.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and this recipe and lots of others too.
And we will be posting this on rogerstv.com, not at the risk of throwing too many websites your way.
How about a little spice?
Okay, so
Okay,
what do you
so
want?
the
This,
sriracha,
the chili, the
yeah,
sriracha?
this is the Vietnamese chili sauce.
I have this very jar in my fridge, and I put this on everything,
I
whether
do
it's like
too.
sausage on a bun.
I even put it in the Simple Sauteed Mushrooms just to,
How
spice
much of
it
that?
up.
Is that pretty good?
That's good, yeah.
All right.
You like it hot?
I would,
Okay.
if it was for me, but
Well,
somebody else
it's
on
for you.
staff might be having it.
Okay. All right, so that's all our seasonings. You don't really need to add any salt because the stock is quite salty and you're putting the fish sauce in.
Fish
But
sauce.
when you taste it later and you want a little more salt, you could add it.
Okay.
Okay, so this you would just simmer it probably for about 5 or 10 minutes. And now we're going to add the noodles in.
Okay. Kerplunk.
Yeah. And as you can see, it's really a nice soup full of ingredients, and it's really hearty for this time of year, and delicious.
I really can't wait for TV to adopt smell-o-vision
Yeah.
because this is
We
amazing.
need it. Let's just turn it up a bit here. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of rare roast beef,
All right.
and then it's ready, basically.
And
so,
that's it?
Yeah.
And then these are all the garnishes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there's some lime there and some green peppers.
Oh,
and you could
man.
also use some fresh basil in this would be nice. Now, the roast beef, I just got deli roast beef and just sliced it. So again, really easy. You don't need to cook anything. And
But if you were to use the raw roast beef, it would cook really quickly, the raw
yeah,
beef.
yeah, it would. You could just throw it in there and it would cook.
So we got about 2 minutes left. So we,
Okay. We'll just talk about storing mushrooms. I
Sure.
always get questions about that. When you come home from the grocery store, how should you store them? First of all, they have to be kept in the fridge. They stay fresher longer that way, and their texture stays doesn't get slimy and that kind of thing. If the grocery store has brown paper bags, they usually do beside the mushroom. Put them in the brown paper bag and store them in brown paper bag.
and what does the brown
in the
paper
fridge.
bag do versus having them in the container?
Actually, if they're in a container, you can leave them in the container.
Okay.
But once you've opened it, you need to take them out of there and put them in the brown
Okay.
paper bag. It just preserves the moisture better.
And really, they're an ingredient that you would buy and probably use almost immediately, or if not within the first couple of days.
Yeah, usually. But I usually like to have a bag in my fridge just on the go, so I can use it when I need it. The other thing about mushrooms is all the varieties at the store these days. A lot of people haven't tried them. We talked about some of them before. So if you haven't tried another variety, just next time you go, pick up a different one, like a shiitake or an oyster,
Sure.
and then try it. Okay, so
It's really lovely.
our soup. And you want to put a little green onion on
Green
there
onion
as a
on there for
garnish?
some color.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's lots of soups on our website, actually. There's another one I've been making lately, which is a butternut squash mushroom bisque.
Ooh.
And the mushroom is blended in with the butternut squash, and it's really great for this time of year. So yeah.
So it'd be like a mushroom puree almost.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. And
fantastic.
the mushrooms actually have something in them called umami, and umami is the 5th flavor. So that's what gives us.
Well, I wish you could
Gives
come
it
back
that
every
flavor.
day and do something with mushrooms, Claire.
wish I could
So
too.
thanks for stopping on the show. Again, mushroomsgopink.ca is where you can go for all kinds of wonderful mushroom information and information about breast cancer awareness as well. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more Daytime.
The Amazing Place. It's taking place Saturday, October 29th. For more information on this exciting event, head to the website, theamazingpace.ca. For these and other great community events, our website is rogerstv.com.